in Lagos, where with effect from the 1st of June 2022, the operations of commercial motorcycles will be banned. That's after the Lagos state government announced a total ban on the operations of commercial motorcycles. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu announced the directive today while briefing state security agencies. Local government areas affected by the ban include Ikeja, Surulere, Eti Osa, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island, and Apapa. This is coming days after some commercial motorcyclists allegedly lynched David Imoh, identified as a sound engineer in the Lekki axis. Meanwhile, a few minutes after the directive by the Lagos state governor banning commercial motorcycles operation in the state, reactions have continued to trail the decision. While some residents believe it's a good decision to save lives, others are asking for alternative means before banning the activities, as their operations helped many get to their destination on time.
Local government, the whole of Surulere local government, the whole of Eti Osa local government, the whole of Mainland local government, the whole of Apapa local government, and the whole of Lagos Island local government. A total ban. This is the first banning that we're going to be embarking on, so that others know that in a short while, either get out or for something else to do. And from 1st of June, there are LGAs that are underneath them. We're going to publish them. We're going to list all of them. And so we're given the notice now, right, where you can begin to do your recce, begin to do, your strategy.
I guess it's very okay. I guess it's very okay for the government to ban it because of the high rates of accidents, and also most of the bikers, they can use it to do all manner of things like robbery, like you can know all those cases.
They're actually helping in transportation management in Lagos State. They can go to any nooks and cranny of the whole state. Yes, but they should be advised to stop speeding and drive more carefully.
I have been to Igbobi, and I've visited Igbobi severally, and I've seen what Okada have caused in terms of damage and life taking. So Okada should be totally banned.
It helps to move around, get to where one is going within a short time. And some areas where they could not even penetrate, Okada would do that, but she shouldn't be banned. But
if we compare the rate of accidents through bike, then that may be justified. But on the other hand, it's not justified if we look at the rate of unemployment in the country. I think if you are going to ban something, what have you put in place to remedize the entire banning of the Okada?
The Lagos State Commissioner for Information, Ikeja Motosho, is here with me to answer a few questions in this regard. Let's begin with understanding government's rationale behind this, because accidents and crime are not limited to Okada. What facts and data is the state government working on here?
Well, we have gone around and we have studied this problem for a long time. We have to go into the history of it. This is not the first time the government is saying enough of Okada. I think about 2 years ago, in 2020, the pronouncement was made by the government that commercial motorcycles are banned from these 6 local governments. Unfortunately, we never realized at that time that COVID was going to come upon us. The ban was effective. It was being followed by people. Some of the motorbikes owners, they were even moving out of Lagos at that time. Unfortunately, when COVID came, it weakened the enforcement. And then it now became a laissez-faire something for people. Everybody was bringing Okada in and all of that. And then we have seen that the records are there with the police, that the crime rate is going up, and then it's been traced to Okada. They snatch people's bags, they attack people, and then get away, use Okada to get away. And apart from that, we have seen that many of our residents, they are just having their limbs broken, having their heads smashed, all because they've been able to mount an Okada or commercial motorcycle. And the government feels that well, maybe there is something we can do about this thing. Let us see whether we can bend it. And since we cannot bend it, we have to end it. So this is what is going on today. And Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu is just using this. It's the first phase in what is going to be a total ban of this kind of transportation mode in Lagos, because it's not the part of greater Lagos that we are talking about.
You're saying that the restriction on Okada in 2020, which is almost 2 years now, wasn't effective because of COVID. But that restriction wasn't lifted post-COVID. My thinking is, if it didn't work after COVID, what is the assurance that it's going to work now? Now,
what we are saying is that it was working. But unfortunately, COVID came.
That's what I'm saying.
And it affected all of us.
COVID has gone now, and the restriction is still in force. But it's business as usual, you know, in those areas where Okada is restricted.
This time around, it's not going to be business as usual. Mr. Governor met today with all police DPOs, all area commanders, and then gave them the marching order that Okada is no longer tolerated in all these places. They can go to some other place that they like, but I assure you, with the police assuring the government that they are going to ensure that Okada is off the road, I do not see any reason why it's not going to be effective. So the ban is going to be effective, and all of us are going to see, because we are prepared very well before making this. I told you that we tried to see whether we could bend it, but we couldn't bend it, and then we are saying, well, what to do is to end it, and it's going to be enforced, it's going to be total, it's going to be strong, and it's going to be effective, I can assure you.
Are we ready for the economic implication? Because many people rely solely on the Okada business. I know that the state government has talked about some alternatives like the last mile buses. How much effective are these alternatives? And what kind of buffer do you have for those who rely solely on this business?
Yeah, I'm sorry, going back to what I said before, that we tried to bend it and we couldn't bend it, and then we came to the conclusion that we must end it. All of these were considered. But when you talk about livelihood and then lives, you have to choose one. And the Lagos State government has chosen lives. We need to protect the lives of our citizens. We need to protect the lives of our people. We need to protect their limbs. They have to be able to be alive before talking about livelihood, because talking about economy, before talking about naira and kobo and what to eat. And we have seen that the figures are scary. They are very bad. We have seen that the spectacle is very bad. If you go to hospitals, especially Bobi, and you see people who are down because all they did was that they mounted an Okada. There is no way you as a government will not look at it, and this thing has to be reversed. And that's what the government of Lagos State is doing now. And so anybody who wants to, there are so many other things that you can do in Lagos. Lagos is home of everybody. Everybody is welcome. But government is saying that in all these local governments that we have mentioned, there is no need for you to even take your Okada there. You can do some other things. You can even ride.
You're saying that Okada riders have to find alternatives to support their families. I understand that. How does this total ban affect courier services, people who ride power bikes and other high-capacity bikes in Lagos?
Those who ride power bikes, those who have courier firms, these are regularized people who are registered. We have been talking about guys who are not registered. We are talking about guys who have no addresses. We are talking about people who have no respect for rules and regulations at all. We are talking about people who I do not want to call, to be mine, they are just lawbreakers, who don't want to conform to everything that is nice in the society. So this is why we say that these people do not belong. And in any case, as I have said, all of the things that we have ahead of us, the buses that you are seeing in town, which are being strengthened every day by putting in new one, Lagos Ride that we have just launched, and all of that, they are things that people deserve. They are decent things that people deserve. They do not deserve to be carried up and down on Okada.
We have to go now. You're saying that the state government is resolute, because I'm concerned this is pre-election year. You're sure that some months to election, you know, the state governor will not change his mind?
No. Election will not make anybody change his mind. I do not know how many Okada people are voting. I do not know how many Lagosians are ready to exchange their lives for an Okada.
It's a good place to leave it.
Yeah.
Lagos State Commissioner for Information, Ikeja, thank you for talking to us tonight.
Thank you.